So with the Steelers 49th
yeah, do we
pick,
want to
man,
dig right into it right here?
Let's do it. So I guess I should go first, huh?
Just who you're picking? Like, is that how we're gonna do it?
Well, so this is my thing, man. When we talk about first off the needs for the Steelers, we already listed some. We said running back. We talked receivers. Inside linebacker, outside linebacker, especially with the lack of depth that they have at both of those positions.
Maybe safety.
Yeah, we talked about that too, just because you don't really have anybody behind them like that. People are still on the fence about Terrell Edmonds, even though I think he's going to be fine. You still have just, like I said, and the thing that everybody's saying that the Steelers have no major hole, but it's like a lot of little things that if this were to happen, this could be bad.
It could be catastrophic.
I mean, even some people link quarterback to him just because they say, I mean, we talked about that too with Jameis, just in not even trying to be funny, but in the sense of, if Ben were to go down again, who is your backup? If Ben struggles at any point in the season because of him coming off of surgery, who's the guy you're turning to? So that was another big conversation, because you're saying to yourself, do you want to waste all the talent that you already have on this team, not having anybody that's adequate enough to back him up? So that's another conversation that people have had. Why you see a lot of people have mocked different quarterbacks to the Steelers as well. Yeah. So I guess with that being said, I'll go ahead and drop mine first.
Okay. With the
49th pick.
In the 2020 NFL draft. Being done over Zoom.
So you know me. You know I never have just a straight answer, right? I never have just a straight pick. I have a pick / either or /
Oh, man. A trade scenario?
No trade. So this is my situation, right? So I say to myself, if I'm Kevin Colbert, you really have to weigh which position you feel more comfortable with between running back and outside linebacker. The two guys I'm looking at, running back is Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU, 1,000-yard rusher. Obviously was a part of a very prolific offense in LSU with Joe Burrow, the receivers down there. I mean, they were stacked. But then I also look at the edge rusher out of Michigan, Josh Uche. And he's another guy that was very productive, can rush the passer, speed rusher, kind of undersized, but very productive, has position flexibility. I think about the things that they use TJ Watt for in terms of him rushing off the edge, then the rover package where he's roaming around in the inside, dropping into coverage. He's a guy that can do that. And obviously, you have to ask yourself, okay, if you're not planning on getting a long-term deal done with Bud because you already want to get the deal done with TJ.
Although there are, you see some of the stuff now?
I see it, but I don't, money-wise, how does that work? Yeah. And that's going to be the biggest issue. How do you get that deal done? I personally don't see it happening.
It's just funny, the bold call, Steeler for life. Like,
it's nuts right now.
It's just a bold call. But hey, I mean, you like the headline.
Yeah. So my whole thing is, does Kevin Colbert want to already bring in the replacement for Bud without having him have to come in and be the day one starter this year? He has a chance to be the third rusher, get some special teams reps, learn from those guys, and then when his number is called, whether it's later this year or next year, he's already ready. I said, so that's the one thing I look at. Then when the running back position, we already talked about it. Okay, you have James Conner, who's proven when healthy, he can be a top-notch running back, a Pro Bowl caliber running back. But the problem is he deals with a lot of injuries, and not just the injuries that keep him out, the nagging injuries that'll last for 2 to 3 games, and you'll see him not be his full self, or he's playing a couple of plays and then having to take himself out the game. Those are the things that I'm looking at, and you have to ask yourself, okay, if you're Kevin Colbert, which one is the bigger need right now? Because both of these players, they got the same draft grade pretty much, that second to third round. So whichever one you go with, you're taking a chance that, hey, you might be able to get the other guy, but it's a strong possibility that you won't also. So when I looked at those things, for me, I said, personally, I think I would go Josh Uche, the edge rusher out of Michigan, just because you know for a fact right now with Bud, he has this franchise tag year. And unless he's taking a crazy discount or some money magically frees up, which we're not going to get into how that could happen, I personally don't see them getting that deal done with him, because they want to get that deal done with TJ. You know he's going to get a blank check. You know they're going to want to extend Cam Hayward. So when you look at all those things, how are they going to be able to take care of him? The running back room with James Conner, I'm banking on him being healthy. And if he is healthy, you know what you have in him. But even if he's not, Benny Snell has shown that he can play and produce in a limited capacity. But you have to anticipate him taking a larger step. But that's going to be a little mixed up just simply because this offseason how it's played out. I mean, they're not getting the traditional OTAs. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get the traditional reps that they're accustomed to. Even their training at home is different because a lot of these gyms are closed. You might have your private guy that you're working with, but depending on how he feels about the whole COVID-19 thing, he might say, hey, man, I'm social distancing. I don't have time for this. Like, you just don't know because everybody has reacted so differently to it. So I think those are a lot of the things that are being talked about and are being discussed. And that's why I would say that they would lean more towards the edge guy because you don't have to have so much pressure on this guy coming in. And you know, okay, I have time to get another running back later in the draft potentially, or even next year. So what about you, man?
Okay. I'm just going to say my picks. Now, here's the thing with your pick. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if you think my guy's just going to be off the board as to why you didn't take him. So I'm saying Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I watched the highlights.
He's a beast.
I see the stats. I see the production. I mean, eye test, everything's there. I mean, 4.4 speed. I think he was 4.39 or something.
Yeah,
speed.
Could roll. Mm-hmm.
Like not your traditional Wisconsin running back, the bruiser type, because that's what I was thinking.
Not your Ron Danes.
Nope. Yeah. Even Monte Ball. I mean, Melvin Gordon's obviously been a success in the NFL, but I mean, Taylor looks legit.
Well, and the thing when they talk about Taylor, I guess the knock on him right now is the amount of touches.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
So we talked about how Le'Veon. I mean, he had a lot of touches in college, but we talked about those last 2 years at Pittsburgh, 400 touches back-to-back years. When we're looking at Jonathan Taylor, he was like that in college. So a ton of mileage on him. So I think that's the only thing that's
in terms of serious hits though. I mean, I was seeing his yards per carry. He was getting like 5-6 yards a pop.
Absolutely. But the thing is this, 5-6 yards a pop, he still ends with the pop.
I mean, somewhat. I mean, it's not the hey, I'm running into the line.
I don't think you understand, man. The running back, like, cause that's the thing. A wide receiver, right? You catch the ball. Sometimes you run out of bounds, right? Or you hit your smaller DB, you're pushing each other, you fall out of bounds. Running backs, they run hard. So as a defender, you don't just get the easy, we're going to take this play off and just slowly hit this. Like every time you hit a running back, you have to try to like bang him up. Like you want to bang a running back out. So you shooting at the knees, you trying to gang tackle him. Like, so I understand you saying the fiver's pop, he's not getting hit like that, but they take a ton of punches, which is why the career span is so short, and which is why a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need to pay a running back. Just get another guy because they're going to get used up. That's why, because there are no easy hits on running, not good running backs at least. I mean, if you're a guy that's, I'm running out of bounds all the time, what type of running back is that? You don't want that. Imagine if every time the running back was about to break. Imagine if Willie Parker, every time he's about to break a long run, man, somebody's like, I'm just step out of bounds. I want to get this hit. You would feel some type of way. You would. Let's be real. You would. And every time they get hit every play, regardless if they touch the ball or not. Somebody is touching them every play.
What's interesting, by all accounts of research I've done on Franco, that's what he used to do. Mm-hmm. And people would be really mad at that.
Yeah. It's the truth. and then you got a guy like Jim Brown who's like, I would never run out of bounds. I looked at it like it was a disgrace if I ran out of bounds. And Le'Veon, he emulated that. He would not, his Le'Veon would never want to run out of bounds. He's going to try to get, and I was in these meetings with Coach T. He preaches that finish the run. Finishing the run is not running out of bounds. Finishing the run is not getting down before contact. Finishing the run is make every defender hate the fact that they got to tackle you. Like that's when a running back, that's their mindset. Like, yo, I want you to hate the fact that you got to hit me today. Like you're going to hate every snap of it. So that's the only thing, like when we talk about the 5 yards per carry and stuff like that.
Did you think he was going to be gone at that point?
I personally do.
Would you take him over the back that you said?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, though. I said, man, let's look at the teams that need running backs. The Miami Dolphins, they have multiple picks in the first round. Plus, they're going to be picking ahead of the Steelers in the second round. The Cincinnati Bengals, they're a team that could potentially be looking because Joe Mixon's contract is coming up. And if they're not willing to pay him, they got to get ready to replace him, which we've seen. That's the circle of life in the running back with in the NFL. Then I said, who else? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on a team. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, so I have another scenario.
Dolphins. It was Dolphins, Bengals. Oh, Baltimore Ravens. Because Mark Ingram, he has 2 years left on his deal, but depending on how they feel about him, And he isn't like these other guys. When we're talking about a J.K. Downs, when we're talking about a Jonathan Taylor, when we're talking about the kid out of Florida State, like
Akers,
yeah, those guys can come in and produce at that same type of level. And then also the Chargers, even though they just extended Austin Eckler
they need a real back,
right? And he's always split carries. He's never been the guy. All of those teams that I just named are going to have multiple picks prior to us, and that's why I think all of those top-notch backs, the DeAndre Swifts, the Jonathan Taylors, the J.K. Dobbins, I don't see them really slide into 49. Now, if we trade up, I think that's different.
I don't think we should do that.
I agree.
We can't afford to do that. So here's the other scenario.
Whoa, what? You're changing up on me. You're Mr. Gung Ho, trade them all. You said trade them all.
Not for running back. Dude, there isn't anyone. I mean, if we're going to do that, we better be trading for Judy or CeeDee Lamb, any of those receivers. That's who we got to be trading up for. Or Simmons or picks that are just completely out of our reach.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, at least. Yeah, I don't know how much that would cost to get those guys. I mean, Juju would probably have to be part of that type of deal.
Strong possibility would have to be part of that deal.
I mean,
I'm not going down there with you. I'm not going down there with you.
I'm good with what we got. I'm good with what we got. I'm good with Juju. So here's the other scenario then.